All right, so welcome to week five of the WebCenter All-In Accountability program. And our first 4 weeks were all about activities and tasks to just kind of get started and really taking action, having the right attitude, having the knowledge, growing your confidence level to the point where you're feeling a little bit of this success. You're starting to get some momentum. And now we're getting into the second month. And the second month is really where we start seeing some results and success stories, strictly as a result of taking action in the activities over the past 30 days. So ultimately, it's a good time to always reflect and reset and recharge and move forward again. So we got to ask ourselves again, are you all in? Am I all in? And that just means mentally. I've got a goal and I need to achieve it. What do I need to do? What's gone well over the past 4 weeks? What do I need to improve over the next 4 weeks? And take it in small chunks, right? Don't think about what you need to do over 6 months or 9 months or 12 months. Focus on the week to week. Have the long-term goal in mind, but really be committed on the consistency on a weekly basis for that 30 days, right? It's easier to do a 30-day sprint than it is to sprint a marathon and do a full year. So take it, 30 days at a time. And what we need to do is look back to what we've accomplished. And if you got a late start, or maybe you didn't take action, this is where you start. Again, in May, it was all about commitment, goals, training, activity. And we measured what your attendance to, the webinars. Are you participating? Are you emailing your coaches? Are you booking any appointments? Are you doing the weekly assignments, right? So we had the WebCenter owner assessment. You submitted a list of your candidates. You did some basic research on your top 15 candidates. You watched the 5 C's simple sales video to make sure you understood the most important components of success. And then you also refined your power statement, your answer to what is it and what do you do? And then you started working on your professional contacts for the unfranchised business. Right now, that's a lot to ask, but that's really laying the foundation. You can't do anything until you've done that. Then we went on and said, okay, now that you've got this list, you've got some research, now it's time to reach out and contact those candidates. And for those that maybe lack confidence or just getting started, aren't really sure, we suggested doing some role playing. So you might still be at the point where you need to work and refine and practice, and that's okay. Continue to do the role playing activities, right? Reach out on the WebCenter Owner Support Group on Facebook, reach out to your members of your accountability group here, reach out to your coach, find ways that you can do some role playing, and that's going to improve your skill level, right? And that's going to improve your confidence and your competence. From there, then we're going to start focusing on doing some of the website demonstrations or the consultations first, right? Consultations leading into website and DMP demos. And then last week, we talked all about following up, right? Follow up with yourself, follow up with your candidate list, follow up on your consultations, your contacts, and any potential clients. And of course, right alongside this, we should be focused on our unfranchised business as well, right? We should be really focused on that Master UFO program and really getting this plan in front of, 1 to 2 prospects per week using that evaluation or the evaluation referral approach, right? So that was May. May was all about attitude and activity. So now we can take all of that and roll that into and building momentum to June, which is all about results, right? Results from activities. So we're talking about sales and sponsorship. So we're going to be looking at how many website demonstrations are taking place, how many DMP demonstrations are getting booked, how many sales of the products are happening. Are you personally sponsoring anyone? If you've done your 1 to 2 per week over the course of May, that means that you've got maybe 8 to 10 plans that you've shown, maybe 4 if you've done 1 per week. You should now be at a point where you've got some trial runs starting to maybe emerge, as well as some people that might want to get started as an unfranchised owner. And there's never been a better time than right now, as you lead into the summer months, to really focus on building your unfranchise. And then we're going to focus on reporting, the number of demo appointments that are happening, the number of follow-ups, the number of sales, how many new candidates are you adding, how many plans are you showing, because that ultimately is going to translate to results. But it's not going to happen unless you've done the basic activity that we've talked about through the month of May. And July will really be about leadership, right? Taking it to the next level based on what we've done in June. So now is a good time, like we said, is to reset your goals a little bit, determine those new targets, and wipe the slate clean. If you did achieve your targets in the month of May, it's okay. Forgive yourself. There's nothing you can do about May. May was only a day away, but it's a day that we can't do anything about, right? So you need to then reset, refresh, determine your targets, your goals. How did they change, if at all? Some are going to carry over, some will change. So you need to make sure that you are transparent and honest with yourself. So for many of us, we might need to reassess. And for people that were just brand new WebCenter owners, when you filled out this the first time, it was easily all no's because you're just getting started. But now you've got 31 days under your belt, and it's time to look back at it and say, great, what did I do? What did I not do? What have I improved? Where do I need more assistance? I'm a big fan when it comes down to coaching people on identifying the little tweaks that need to happen along the way, rather than going 3 months, 6 months, a year and saying, oh, I didn't hit my goals. Well, let's break it down into a 30-day kind of microcosm here and figure out what can I do through the month of June to really make a concerted effort on improvement, right? It's progress over perfection. So the goal statement isn't good enough, right? A goal statement is important, but it's not good enough. You must clearly define where you're starting right now, because you're starting right now in the beginning of June, a much different WebCenter owner than you were on May 1st. Many of you. So ultimately, yeah, it comes down to that attitude and activity. Now we're working on really developing your skill level. And that's where you're going to start seeing some magic happen. And that's my goal for you and for this program over the month of June. So tonight we're going to talk about 3 strategies for achieving your goal. The first is making sure that you've got a balanced, we call it operating procedure, right? And we're going to talk again for the month of June. We're going to talk about on a weekly basis or even on a daily basis. You don't want to be so front heavy so that all you do is add new candidates to a list. And then you've got, well, Jason, I've got a list of 300 candidates. Great. And I've researched all 300 of them. Great. How many have you contacted? Oh, none. I was waiting to have all 300. No, that's where we need to have that balance. You have some new candidates. You need to have some that you're researching. You need to have some that you're contacting. You need to have some that you're booking consultations with. You need to be conducting those consultations and then closing them into the demonstration appointments. So that's that balance. And for your unfranchised business, yeah, adding names to your names list, reaching out and approaching people to take a look at the business, showing, a portion or sharing some of the unfranchised business opportunity, maybe getting them scheduled to see, an unfranchised business presentation, answering questions and following up, having them maybe try a trial run, getting them on product, right? There's so many different things that can move the needle forward, but you can't just be focused on one. You've got to do all of them, because if you just take, maybe this week you take 10 candidates and you contact them all, well, guess what? Next week, you're starting over if you don't have your list, if you haven't done your research. So you need to make sure that you're doing it a little bit at a time. So 25% of your time maybe on new prospects, 25% on warm prospects, maybe 25% on new clients that just came on board and how to follow up with them, 25% that has gone through a consultation or maybe a demo, and then you're following up with them because they're just getting their questions answered, right? And that's how you should dedicate your time. So maybe Monday through Thursday is all just prospecting and your appointments, but Fridays for following up, so you don't let anything slip through the cracks, right? So take a look at this chart. I'll take a screenshot of this and send it out for everyone as well, so you can take a look at it. But you can also review the 12-week action plan, and it's a very, very systemized approach to success over a long period of time, right? So you want to have that balance. That's the first strategy, is making sure that we call it a pipeline. You want to have a sales pipeline where you've got people at every stage rather than all only on one stage. You might have heard the term a funnel, right? You're pushing it through a funnel, and then that's where you're going to get your new clients. Well, the second strategy is to adjust your action plan. So maybe you had a lot of contacts, but you weren't able to book any consultations. Okay, well, good for you. Did you have any objections that you need to work on? Did you have a lot of voicemails? Did you reach a lot of gatekeepers? Did you make a lot of contacts but not actually reach another person? Or did you actually talk to 10 businesses and didn't get anywhere? You need to really identify what, maybe it's something you're saying, maybe it's how you're saying it. That's where coaching comes in. So that's where we want to hear from you and how we can help you. Maybe you've done a great job with your consultations, and then, for some reason you're getting a lot of cancellations before you even have the website demos. All right, well, something's happening and we need to find out what that is. So you need to adjust, and the only way we know how to adjust is from the feedback, right? What activity has taken place, and then what is the result? And then we can kind of work backwards and tweak it. Now, a lot of people say, well, I just haven't made the contacts. So then if you haven't made the contacts, we need to identify why. It's either the attitude or your goal's not strong enough, right? It really comes down to those things, and you need to identify which of those it is. So you might take a one of our tracks here and say, okay, I know that if I have 12 consultation appointments of those businesses, I'm going to get at least half of them, 50% of them, into a website or a DMP demo with a product specialist, about 50%. And that's a statistical average. And we know that we close about, let's call it 25%. When I look at the yearly numbers, 25% of the website demonstration appointments that we have with a product specialist actually close in a website sale or a DMP sale. So we know if we've got 6 website demos, I might sell 3 websites. Okay. So the important thing about your performance and your activity is that you're going to come to your own ratio. You might, look at the numbers, and I know Dennis Franks and Jim Winkler talked about this with the unfranchise and how many contacts it takes to show the plan and how many plans being shown does it take to sponsor a new UFO. Well, you might just take the company averages, but you might just be getting started. It might take more activity, and that's okay, to develop that skill to the point where maybe you're so skilled that you have a consultation that 100% of the consultations you have result in a demo appointment, right? And maybe because they're so qualified, almost all of your demonstration appointments, maybe 1 out of 2 or 50% or 100% close in a sale. But you won't know that unless you track your numbers, right? So you need to know your numbers. Now, these are examples using our statistics, right? So we know that if you've got 12 consultations, and that might be over the course of a month, right? It might be over the course of 90 days. But whatever it is, you need to identify how many contacts it takes to book a consultation and how many consultation appointments you have held that result in a demonstration with a product specialist, that next step. And from all the appointments that you've had with the website demonstration or DMP with a product specialist, how many of those result in a sale? And it might not happen, like we said, it might not happen on the first, second, or third attempt like last week. It might be in the follow-up. It might not close for another month or 2 months or 3 months. But if you're keeping good notes and records of this, you can mathematically and scientifically figure out how to reach your goals in the future. And that's a beautiful thing. When you say, geez, you know what? I know that I want to sell, or I want to, earn an extra $3,000 over this next 3 months. How do I do that? That means that over 3 months, $3,000, that would mean $1,000 a month. Okay, well, I know the average retail profit that I have made over my website sales is $750 to $1,000 in profit. So that means that I need to sell 1 website each month over the course of the next 3 months. Well, I also know that for maybe every 5 appointments that I have with the product specialist results in a sale that month. So I need to make sure that I've got, at least 1 website demonstration every single week. But I know that I'm really good with my consultations in that, for at least every 2 appointments that I sit down with someone or have a cup of coffee with and do a consultation, I know that I can at least close them to the website demonstration. Okay, so that means that I need to have 2 consultations every single week to make sure that one of those will result in a product demo appointment. And that demo appointment over the course of 1 month will result in 1 sale per month. And maybe it takes me 10 contacts to book 1 consultation. Okay, so if I need to book 2 per week, I take 2 and I multiply it and I say, okay, that means I need 20 contacts a week. Some people say, oh my goodness, 20 contacts a week, that's my whole list. Now you know why you need to continue to add businesses to your list, right? Because if you have a list of 100 to 200, well, yeah, 20 is no problem, right? So now you know 20, well, okay, 5 days per week, if I'm going to be working, 20 divided by 5 is 4 contacts. I know that I need to make 4 contacts or reach outs every single day, maybe on my lunch break, maybe after hours, maybe a networking group, whatever it might be. If I do those 4 per day, I'm on track to scheduling a consultation which then will follow through. It's like lining up the dominoes. But when you have your numbers, it makes it so much easier to forecast, right? You'll know how exactly to reach your goal. And the thing is that the longer you do this and the more you do this and the more consistent you are, those numbers improve. So right now it might take a lot of numbers, and that's okay. You're still refining your skill. That's part of it. But I will tell you that these are transferable skills that will, result in more success in other areas of your business as well. And once you get to that point, now it's about coaching, mentorship, and leadership. And now you've got this, fine-tuned engine that can create this, repeat type of business. And that's how it works. And that's why we've got, our top WebCenter trainers that are continuing to hit the WebCenter challenges, continuing to hit the contests. It's not because this is the first rodeo. They've been doing this consistently over years, right? So, this is a program for everyone. So I'm speaking to the masses here, but if you're just getting started, take a deep breath, forgive yourself, and just know that it just takes, a little bit of action, persistence, and consistency and commitment to make it happen, right? So that's the strategy number 2. Strategy number 3, measure, monitor, and adjust. In fact, I just talked all about that. Make that action plan, refine your action plan. And strategy 3 is really find out where you're at. And you got to be honest with yourself. You got to be transparent. You either did the work or you didn't. And that's kind of a blessing in disguise. When you are employed by someone else, you can kind of go under the radar. And as long as you're just kind of being present, you'll earn a paycheck. But when you're self-employed or an entrepreneur and you're writing your own paycheck, at the end of the day, you've got to look in the mirror and say, I did my job today. And I know that I can go to bed knowing that I did my job towards my goals. And that's why we talk about having goals, statements written, put it on your voicemail, have it on your phone as a screensaver, have it on your computer as a screensaver, have it as your passwords. So every time you log in somewhere, it's your goal. Have it in a sticky note on your mirror, write it in a dry erase marker on your mirror, put it in your visor. If you're driving in the car, put it in your wallet or your purse. The more you can see it, that way, at the end of the day, you can know that you did your job. Right. And it gives you a clear view. It helps you with your follow-up as well. When you're honest with yourself, you're being transparent. When you look at your calendar, if you're doing your job or not. If you open up your calendar and it's blank, well, you know where to start, right? You truly do. So you've got some tools, right? We talked about the tools, either a Google spreadsheet, your phone, a Google Calendar, the contact manager, the website assessment, a WebCenter owner assessment sheet, even the weekly accountability and tracking forms, right? But I think ultimately this is your biggest barometer, is your appointment book. It doesn't lie. If it's empty and blank, you're not going to see results or success. If it's filled with a bunch of appointments, well, guess what? You're on your way. You are on your way. So your appointment book, certainly plug in all your GMTSS events, plug in your times when you're available to book appointments into, book the night that you're going to be showing the plan, but also circle times during the day that you can reach out and dedicate to reaching those contacts in your candidate list, right? I will tell you that this is the secret to success. The night before, every day, right? When you go to bed, write down what you got to get accomplished the next day. And the longer your list, the worse. Pick a list that's, smart, it's measurable, it's attainable, it's realistic, it's time-bound. Tomorrow, I need to get these 5 things done. And I know that I've succeeded if I could put a check mark next to all of them. If you make a to-do list that's 25 things long, well, guess what? Every day you're going to feel like a failure, and you're going to start adding things to your list and crossing them out because it makes you feel better that you accomplished something on the list. No, make a smaller list and make it so you are more productive, right? And I'll tell you, top entrepreneurs, CEOs, executives, the ultra wealthy and the biggest business owners that that's what they do. They focus on productivity and making sure that the night before they know exactly what they need to get done. And even on a weekly basis, Sunday nights, you should know exactly what your week is going to look like so that you can go into it with a clear mind. If you go into every day chasing your tail, like, oh my goodness, I didn't contact anyone today, I didn't have any appointments today, you're going to carry that over to the next day and the next day. And you're going to get in this like downward spiral rather than lifting yourself up and being positive. When you've got 1, 2, or 3 things that you need to mark off and check off, that's called, being highly productive. So I call it the high performance productivity calendar, right? When you just mark off 1 main objective or 2 main objectives that have to get done today, otherwise you didn't get your job done, right? And I really want you to take that to heart. So again, what gets scheduled gets done. Your calendar is your barometer. And of course, John Maxwell, you'll never change it in your life until you change something you do daily. The secret to your success is found in your daily routine. And that's why I harped on it so much. It's as simple as putting all the pieces together. You know what the puzzle is, and you know what the pieces are. Now it's up to you to put the pieces together, right? And we're giving you all these tasks and activities so that you can build out this puzzle, but you're the one that has to do it. So the month of June is really to help you, start forming, a couple of these pieces together. So you start seeing your vision take shape. You start to see some of the appointments happening, and you'll get some positive feedback. You'll get some enthusiasm, and it becomes addictive as you start seeing these things kind of take place. You'll start seeing, oh my goodness, I reached out to a candidate and I booked a consultation. I had a great consultation and it led to a demo appointment. And you'll start getting excited. And when you do that, you have a new vibration, a new energy, and a new enthusiasm that people can feel. So when you contact that new contact, you're having a conversation, that excitement, that passion comes through. And that's why people will be attracted to you, and they'll be wanting to meet with you, and you'll start attracting business your way as well. So week 5 really is about reassessment, right? If you're not on track, you're not where you want to be, or you haven't done the activities from the month of May in the first 4 weeks, well, it's time to reassess. Take a look at and be positive. Where are the improvements that you did make? And what can you do in the month of June? You should all have a candidate list, and now it's time to really refine what is your top contact list look like. Those might be follow-ups, those might be new consultations, that might be new candidates, I don't know. But you need to make sure that you've got something that's very objective, not subjective, right? Not emotional, something that's got a target on it. Schedule your success for sure. It's time. We're changing months. It seems like every month our schedules change, whether there's new activities, vacations, holidays, maybe school is getting out, whatever it might be, your schedule might be changing through the month of June. You need to make sure that you stay on top of that and kind of prepare for that in advance, right? Start working that balanced pipeline, right? We talk about 25% new, 25%, your contacts, 25% being the consultations and demos you've had, 25% in following up in your clients, right? So really start focusing on having that balance. And I think whether you're just getting started or you've already had a great month of May, I think everyone can focus on those items and take something from it. So, pretty simple week. It's like do more of what we've already talked about, rinse, wash, repeat. But now it's time to kind of refine and improve ourselves, maybe improve our systems, our organization, and how we can make sure that we've got those systems in place to make sure that things can continue. So, 95% of success in anything comes down to the systems that are in place. Therefore, the 95% of success is really in the systems. So we've given you the simple sales system. We've given you some of the tasks. Now it's time for you to determine your own systems. What's working for you for follow-up? What's working for you in terms of your scheduling? And as you refine that, you can't help but succeed as you develop that. And I'll tell you, the nice thing about having systems is that it's also easily duplicatable. And why is that important? It's not what you do that matters in this business. It's what duplicates that matters, right? What can you delegate, or what can you teach, and what can you empower others to do will yield huge long-term benefits. But if you're doing something different, a different process every single step of the way, it becomes very difficult to onboard a new WebCenter owner or a new unfranchised owner because there's no structure in place. And what happens when they bring on a new partner? Everyone revolves around you, the leader, to try and teach them what to do. But if there's no system, you can't really offload. And in fact, we call it the reverse ABC pattern. Everyone's turning to you. But if you've got processes and systems in place that are easily duplicatable by anyone, well, yeah, you can pass that marker, pass the torch, and that story gets carried along with or without you. And it's a beautiful thing when you've achieved that level of success. So I'm looking forward to hearing from everyone this week. A great email recap. How was your month of May? What did you do well? Where can you improve? How can we help you and support you? But for those that have gotten a good, running start in May, I know that we're going to see a tremendous June, and I'm looking forward to, announcing all these success stories each and every week and promoting your success on the WebCenter Owner Support Group. So let's go out there and make it a great week. If we can help in any way, make sure that you reach out to us.